right here?
Oh, yeah.
I am paying good money for this shit.
All right.
You have to ask for ready.
Are we ready?
Doesn't matter for me.
No, it does not. All right. Today we're going to be talking about ground adjustable props, automatic pitch change. So, as some of you guys know in class, we talked about this. So, fixed pitch. What does fixed pitch do? It doesn't move. Ground adjustable? It does.
It moves. It goes around and
Well, it does go around in circles. So, no, I didn't even know how to do it. I didn't know.
Is he right a little bigger? Upside down cross. Is that a G or a J?
I think I'm gonna let Kevin take over the rest.
I think you did a fine job. Good introduction there. You're going to be on YouTube. You'll be famous. Tell your family.
I got through 1 point.
I know. That's more than anybody else has ever done in the history of my teaching. Yeah. Okay. Well, as Cooper said, we're going to talk about ground adjustable automatic pitch change. We're getting into props now that do more than just go around in circles. All right, so we're going to cover that. So what does he have already right here? He had ground adjustable propellers already written down for me. So that's awesome. So what does a ground adjustable prop do? Designed so that a mechanic can adjust the blade angles, ADJUST, adjust the blade angle to give desired performance. Within reason. I would like my plane to do Mach 0.8, but it's probably not going to. So if I go to mechanic and I say, please adjust my propeller so I can get Mach 0.8 out of my 182, they will say no. I will say no. Oh yeah, good luck taking off. Yeah. Okay. So what are those two options? We'll put it into two options. We talked about, well, actually three. I'll make a third one here. What are those options? We talked about it with fixed pitch. Climb. Okay, so is that a high or low blade angle?
It's going to be low blade angle.
Okay, so low blade angle for climb or short takeoff. And why is that better for climbing and short takeoff?
You're getting a higher RPM.
Higher RPM means?
Higher power.
High power. So we get higher power, we'll get off sooner. What would my second one be?
Balanced. Medium blade angle.
Yeah, okay, medium. And that'd be good for
General purpose.
GP, general purpose, middle of the road. And then, obviously, we're going to have high blade angle. For what?
Cruise.
For best cruise speed. My trade-off is
You're not going to climb very well.
not going to climb as well. All right, so these ground adjustable props, well, this is wrong. I said typically used on older aircraft, but they're becoming more popular again. So when I wrote my notes not that long ago, it was old aircraft had this kind of thing. Let me see. Let's go to there. So there we go. What kind of plane is that?
It's a Stearman.
Who made Stearman?
Boeing.
Boeing did, yeah. Bonus question, what kind of engine's that?
Radio.
Yeah? Who made it?
Right.
Whitting.
That's the Lycoming 300 horse, because they have Lycoming made a couple different versions. The one with the ugly one with the exhaust up front like that's the 300 horse. Don't like it. So that has a ground adjustable propeller. And by loosening up these clamps right here, we can adjust the blade angle, which you guys will do across the street. What is this red stripe right here for?
Referencing.
A slip stripe. Yeah. So if it's the pilot can look at it for a pre-flight And if the stripes don't match, then you must have quit.
I have a question.
Is it about financial aid or?
We need to see psychologists.
Or Yes. What is your question?
Okay. I think the answer is no, but I want to ask you already. But say the pilot is doing a pre-check
Huh?
and he notices that the slip stripe is off. Could he, before the flight, fix it, or does he need a mechanic to do that?
Well, where would I find that answer if I didn't know?
FAR.
Your pilot.
43 Appendix
Appendix
A. A. Major alterations and repairs. Plus, it has a list of what is considered preventative maintenance that a pilot can do. Well, what would happen if the pilot chose not to fix it and it was this blade right here? Then this blade had more pitch to it. Actually, would it have, if it slipped, would it have more pitch or less pitch?
Which blade?
This one down here, going the angle, the one going down. If the clamps came loose, would it go to a higher pitch or would it default to a lower pitch? Why would it go lower? Twisting force, very good. So the other blade will have more of an angle. So in this case, the plane would fly up and to the right more than down and to the left because the blade down and to the left has less pitch to it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And if you're like, yeah, that's right, then no, it goes in circles, so it wouldn't do that.
So kind of this yawing motion.
Yeah.
In flight,
So-
burning like crap.
Yeah, so what would it do? It would
Already imbalanced the thrust.
it would vibrate pretty bad. I heard a story recently on one of the podcasts I listened to where somebody hit something on the runway. I forget what it was. And it was a constant speed prop, and it blew out the pitch change mechanism, which means that blade was free to rotate without any. And I think the guy had basically very little thrust. It was a 3-blade, I think. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Well, they were used on older aircraft. I don't know. Were used on older aircraft, but now are becoming more common with light sport. The basic design. How can I change this here? It still works out. So basic design, we'd have a 2-piece hub. That 2-piece hub comes apart and it clamps together. So talk mostly about this prop here. So there, got the hub comes in 2 pieces. You can't see it the way the photo is, but it's got a split on the top, split on the bottom. Those 2 pieces come apart. I don't think I have a picture. No, I don't. Those 2 pieces come apart. They're a match set. So if you have one goes bad, you can't order a front or a back half. So the whole thing is set. You have the clamps here that obviously will clamp down on that clamp ring, clamp the blade from rotating. And at the same time, this giant nut in the middle, which is it's the same as this one, just bigger, clamps the halves together. So to get the blades to rotate, sometimes you have to, if they don't rotate, I would back this off a little bit, get them to rotate, but I think they rotate fine. Oops. Nope, I already did that, and I didn't want to do that one. All right, so we have the 2-piece hub design. I'm just going to leave this other one out. We have the blades. I had some other pictures we looked at last week where there was a 3-blade. I was at a Whirlwind. What was that one? I don't remember if I had the picture of that anymore. I think it was, there we go. So that's a newer version that is on what kind of airplane?
It's light sport.
Yeah, what kind of?
Rotax.
Rotax. There's another engine right there that matches it on top of the wing, so that makes it a what? It's an air cam. air cam.
Huh?
Is that pusher?
Yeah. Twin pusher. Has that long nose, sit tandem in the front. They're made for photo journalism and stuff. So anyway, so you have the blades up here. You can see the split right there. So it's a two-piece, same thing. Put the blades in the middle, sandwich it together, loosen up the blade clamps. You're able to rotate the blades. So, all right. We'll do blades. Blades, of course, they could be wood, steel, aluminum. The one we have across the street is hollow steel. There's an AD on that. If there's any dents in it, you have to reject it. They have a root, with a shoulder machined into it. To take the centrifugal loads, oops. On the blades. Well, I did have notes about installation here. And really, I just said you could have it on all different kinds of crankshafts. So right there, we'd have what kind of crankshaft? Flanged. And then, since I just realized I can do this, where's that other blade? There we go. What kind of? Splined. Very good. So splined. I can't think of any tapered ones, but maybe they're out there. So, all right. So you have to do the blade adjustment. And how are you going to do the blade adjustment? Oh, here's another ground adjustable. I forgot. Which one is this one?
Ivo prop.
Ivo prop. So the nice thing about the Ivo prop, you just turn the big nut and the blades turn. You don't have to do each blade individually. So makes it real easy. Guy was kind of a genius. Ivo prop. We got that one. All right. So we've got the universal prop protractor. And it's called the universal prop protractor because in theory it will work anywhere you go in the universe. So you want to take it with you. Huh?
Space even?
In space, yes, it will. Will the bubble work in space? I don't know. Probably not. So.
We'll just float. We'll float already.
Okay.
Someone's got to figure this out.
The best way for you to figure out how to use a universal protractor, and I could sit here and tell you all about it, and then you're going to go across the street and you're picking up and go, what did he say again? So I'm going to give you the finer points of this. Good. This down here is a lock ring. That one's adjuster, and that one's an adjuster. So this one makes more sense because you see this adjuster in that one. Do not over tighten. Seems like every one of them gets ruined by doing that. So tighten it just enough to lock it. This right here is a disc to ring lock. All right, so what you have to do when you're using a universal protractor is you have to set it up for your zero reference, which means like our engine over there is sitting at an angle. So I can't come up to it with the protractor and go, what's the angle on the blade? It won't work because the engine's at an angle, right? So if the blade's at 0 angle and the engine's at a 5-degree angle and you put it up on the blade, you go, well, that's 5 and this is 5. That's technically 0. So the protractor allows you to set 0 on this. Follow? So right now it's reading level and it's reading 0. But that's probably because it's all locked in and it was leveled and whatnot. All right. So let's take, for example, this engine right here. And this is actually, I don't remember if this is in your book or not. And unfortunately, if you're looking at it online, you won't see like anything below that box, which you know that. This is I think this came out of a pilot book, and it explains P factor. Yes? No? Everybody? Okay, we're good. What's P factor? Differential thrust of the blades. And you can look at it right there and you can see that, well, this blade right here has what kind of angle of attack?
Higher.
Okay. High AOA. And this one right here has got a low AOA. All right. But for our purposes right now, we can use this to show an example of how to use this protractor. Because if I set this protractor up, I set it on a perfectly level bench. I say, well, this bench right here is guaranteed 100% level. And so I take my protractor and I set it there on this, and I get it all leveled, and then I bring it up over here and I put it on this, the face of that crankshaft. It's going to say it's, oops, that'd be around like that, not level, right? And that wouldn't do me any good. And even if these blades were perfectly in a line, this one here would have some sort of angle, and this one have one that's completely opposite. Follow? All right, so we can't do that. So what we have to do is we're going to loosen up this lock so everything spins. So this ring here spins, and this ring here spins. The two of them spin independently. Follow so far? Okay. So this one spins and that one spins. They spin independently. I can turn one to the right or turn the other one to the left. Except this pin right here locks them in. So that pin locks it at 0 and 0. Follow so far? That's the lock pin. Lock pin. So in order to set this up, the first thing I'm going to do is loosen that. So everything spins. These knobs right here, what they are, they're geared. So you can turn those and they turn the discs, or you can turn the discs and it turns the knobs. So inside of here, it's just got a gear that meshes with the gear over here, and it turns it. So just by thinking it through, which one does this one turn, the inner or the outer? And that one's going to turn this one, and this one is going to turn that one, right? All right, so you can move the disc by hand, or you can turn the little knobs, whichever you want to do. Knobs are usually easier. So I've loosened it up so all the discs turn. Then I'm going to lock the pin in so it's 0 and 0. Then this protractor, you can use it on 3 sides. 1, 2, 3 sides. So far we're good? All right, so I take that, everything's loose. I'm going to take it up to my engine, and I have to find a 0 reference angle, which is to say find the spot that is level in reference to the engine. And what would be level in reference to the engine? The propeller flange. So this right here is 90 degrees to that right there. This right here is the perfect level, right? The crankshaft is the perfect level. Well, it's kind of hard to get that protractor in this little space right there, but what else is left? Well, if I had a spline shaft that are long, and I take the prop off, then I can set it right on top of the spline shaft and set it level. Well, I can't do that with a flange, so I'd have to take this protractor and put it against here like this. So it'd be that way, and then the round top over here. Everybody's with me so far? Okay. Then what I'm going to do is make that level. So I'm going to turn the discs. They turn together now because I locked in the little lock pin. So they both turn together now. The lock pin is there. And I'm going to turn it until that bubble is perfectly level. Follow? Okay, so that's your 0 reference. That is level. Now I'm going to lock it in. So lock that right there, and it's perfectly level. That's how you get the 0 reference angle. Now across the street, I'm going to have you take the propeller off, because one, I have to teach you how to take propellers off. So you take the propeller off, you set it down in a bucket. Why do you set it in a bucket? Because if it's a constant speed prop, you're going to need that bucket. Because when you pull a constant speed propeller off an airplane, oil is going to come running down. And they're very heavy, and you're going to say, what do I do with it now? Because it's leaking oil, the engine's leaking oil, it's going all over the floor, and you're going to say, I wish I had a bucket. So just learn to take a bucket and put the prop in the bucket. So all right, so I'm going to do that. I put this on the 0 reference angle. Now, with the outer ring now locked in place, the 0 right there is set for perfectly up and down. So if we looked at it right here, that 0 would be kind of right there, the 0, perfectly up and down. But look how far off it is. It's really kind of over here in the drawing now, the 0. But that's fine, because we moved the 0 to where 0 is straight up and down. And that's level. And so then I take the protractor and I'll put this edge right here against this blade here. Against this blade over here. There we go. It's like that. It's got the round top over here. And I will adjust the inner. So I'll use this one right here. I will adjust the inner until the bubble is perfectly level. And then when the bubble is perfectly level, then the 2 will be off. And so, well, like the 0 would be like right there on that. So it'd be how many degrees? 20. And that might be really hard for you to kind of grasp just watching me do this. But what are some of the takeaways here? What do we need to do first?
Set your 0.
Yeah, so let me go over here. So installation, I'll put this blade angles, reading.
That video you had on that's really helpful.
Oh, I did a video on it. All right.
4-minute awesome video.
Well, watch the video.
It's quick.
I should have just played it. It took me 10 minutes to do it. Where is it?
On YouTube.
I think it's one of the first videos that pops up when you look up how to use like a propeller protractor. I
Really?
swear. I don't know if it's just because I'm like subscribed to you, but it was like.
Is it one of mine? Because it might have been some another student's.
No, it's your video. Oh, maybe it was it. Was it on your account though?
Yeah, it's not under the ground adjustment resources.
Oh, is it?
So you go on Canvas.
See, right there. The first one.
Gary here. Hey, today we're going to talk about checking the angles on a propeller using a propeller protractor. Now, some of you are pretty astute and you know that you can actually get an app on your phone that would probably do it easier. However, your app on the phone is not.
Why does the sound not work?
Just do a voiceover.
Work.
Literally.
I know. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I'm doing.
See if the audio is
Well, this is why we don't do this kind of stuff. Look, those are on. That's on. Who knows? Oh, I know why. Because it's the output is going to something stupid. No, it's not. There. Go figure. All right, so you take
Calibrated piece of equipment. So if you're going to do it on aircraft, you'd have to have a calibrated piece of equipment. Although this one is not, we're going to pretend like it is. So, in order to check the angles of a propeller, or the blade angle, if you will, we're going to use the propeller protractor. There's a couple of things you need to know about the propeller protractor. First thing is you have to set it up according to your propeller. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this right here and lock it in so that the two zeros, 0 and 0, are locked together. Now you can see I can move, both scales move together. And what we have to do is we have to do what I call a zero reference angle. Now notice this particular engine is sitting at an angle. So it would do absolutely no good for me to find something that was level and make this level and call that level and then try and find out what my angles are. It would make absolutely no sense. So we have to find the zero reference angle. In other words, referencing the angle of the propeller to the actual crankshaft. Now the best way, an undisputed way to do it would be to remove this propeller, set my protractor on the propeller shaft and zero it out on that. Well, rather than do all of that, what we're going to use is the face of the hub right here, the hub nut, and we're going to use that. Now, no guarantees that that's perfect. A smart person would probably take the prop off, do a zero angle, zero it out, set the protractor aside, put the prop back on, and see if this matches. But we're going to just assume that this matches. So I'm going to come over here this way, and what we're going to do is line this up here, pull out the secondary level to make sure that I'm level this way back and forth. And using this knob right here, remember I've got it locked in so both items move together. Bring it up until the bubble is perfectly centered. And once it's perfectly centered, the best I can get it, I'm going to lock this nut in right here. And what that does, it locks the outer ring. So I'm going to double check. I'm good. The outer ring is now locked, solid. So I'm going to unpin it. So now the inner ring will move and the outer ring stays put. So that is my zero reference angle. So if I come back over here and I line up the zeros, it's going to be level. Okay, now I'm going to check the angle of this propeller. We check the angle at the 75% station. It's been marked on this propeller. Here's an important thing to note. If you check and make your zero reference angle this way, you have to keep the protractor headed this way. So it has to come around this way. We'll check it back here on the face. The part that faces the pilot. And we will move this until it's centered.
That's terrible photography. Who did that?
Centers perfectly. And then read it up here off the scale. So I have 21, 25, a little over 26 degrees is what I have. Now, let's check the other side. Remember what I said? I had it like this. So when I come around, I have to keep it facing that way. If I turn it around and face it towards me, completely wrong. So we're going to come back in here. We're going to check this one. Same way. Zero it out. Making sure my secondary bubble level is level right there. Take a reading. I have 14 degrees. So this prop would shake real bad. I wouldn't want to fly this thing. So on this side we've got 14. The other side we've got 26, I believe it was. You want it within 1/10 of a degree to keep the vibration and everything down to minimum. So that's how to check the angles on a propeller. Gary here. Hey.
That's my channel? Oh, it is. Wow.
Edit video. Take it all.
Five, comment.
Was there any, I know, any good? Let me see. Very nice.
Yeah, someone said
Excellent.
you need a haircut.
You need a haircut. Oh, that's Dulce. Let's see. What distance from the hub do you use for your measurement?
Someone was 75%.
Oh, look at that guy right there. He knows. Okay. Yay. Okay.
75.
So we got reading blade angles. Blade angles. Watch the video. Watch the video. Watch the video. I know. It's the universal protractor, 3 sides, bubble swings out, dial zero reference, blah, okay. Oh man, then I went like a page and a half on to write it out. All right, so making adjustments. That does not need to be there. Adjustments. All right, so what are we going to do? One. It is recommended that you mark the blade to hub alignment before any adjustments. I guess that way if you really mess up bad, you can just put it back where it was. All right, we're going to place prop in horizontal position. That's really important. So you should have some sort of level up on the hub so you know when the blades are perfectly level. If you've got them off by a little bit and the engine's already at an angle, that's going to mess up your angles. So it's got to be perfectly level. Can you use the universal prop protractor to find level? Because it turns around. So how would you know when it's perfect? So if I took a universal prop protractor and I just brought it from across the street, I set it out on my desk, and I'm like, well, the desk isn't level. Why is it not level? Because the whole disc is rotated on the prop protractor. So you need a level. or everything is level. It can be, everything can be level if you want it to be with the universal prop protractor. All right, loosen Clamps and retaining nut. Clamps and retaining nut. Now in your case, you're going to actually pull off the prop, so the retaining nut's going to be loose anyway. All right, D, rotate blades to desired angle. With blade paddles. With blade paddles. Blade paddle is a long piece of wood. Like a spanking paddle. It's kind of a half moon cut out of it. There you go. Blade goes in there. That's so you can get some twist on it. They're like different types. Try not to sneeze. I've seen some with hooks on it. Kind of weird, but it's just a piece of wood that helps you turn the blade. And that makes it helpful because if you loosen the blade clamps and everything enough to where you can just grab it with your hands, then it's really loose and the blades sag. I told you how to get it was coming. So then the blades are sagging. And then every time you set your angles and tighten up, they move up, and then your angles are going to be wrong. So the tighter you can keep the clamps, the better off you're going to be and the faster you can do it. I'm not done sneezing, just so you know that. All right.
Would you worry about it being too tight that that you would start causing any wear to the shapes there?
Oh, you shouldn't be putting like that kind of. It's just
Well, just over time also too.
not really, because you're not going to do this very often. Yeah.
Do the clamps, does it both blades that are clamped at the same time, or can I get one at a certain angle, clamp it down, and then do the other one, match it, clamp it down?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, loosen up the hub though. Then get that blade clamp, move it. If you want to cinch it down, go this one, loosen, move it, cinch it down. Yeah, that'd be fine. Gonna check with what? Yep, protractor. Torque the clamps. Recheck the angle. GH, repeat until perfect. Tolerance is how much? 0.1 degrees difference. Difference between blades and 0.1 degree from target angle. Although if you were reading the manual and it said set it between 18 to 19 degrees, well, anything within 18 to 19, if that's what you're shooting for, that'd be fine. The 0.1 is out the window from target angle. Like if I said, well, I'm just gonna, if it was 18 to 19 degrees and I wanted to go right in the middle, I'd put it at 18.5. Well, what if I hit 18.6? That'd be good. Yeah, that's doesn't matter. It's just whatever you felt like. So, but as long as both blades are within 0.1 of each other, what's that?
One at 18 and one at 19.
Then they wouldn't be 0.1 from each other.
Right.
But you get the second one to be fine. But you'll be half right.
Yeah, but that and there is what.
Yeah.
But as long as you're flying, your destination is left, that extra 60 RPM will help you.
Right, and talking about this specific prop, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to write it. Because I think I do it with like every prop on here and it becomes obnoxious. It's like, what are we looking for as far as inspection and maintenance? So I'm the mechanic examiner and I'm asking, walk you up to a prop like that and I say, well, inspect this propeller. What are you going to do?
Give me a flashlight and a magnifying glass.
Okay.
And the
Give me a manual, yeah.
Give me a cigarette. I'll tell you if it's good or not.
Why do you need a cigarette?
Well, it's got to hang out of my mouth while I look at it.
Oh,
No, you're not.
you're not adjusting.
You're not an artist.
All right, so what are you going to do?
Clean it. I don't know.
All right, clean it. Yep. Well, first I'd want to clean it because it's got a bunch of bug butts smashed on it. So clean it. What are the things you're going to inspect once it's cleaned?
Leading edge.
Okay, check the leading edge for,
Chips, cracks, dents, stains.
yep, and proper paint. Paint. Then we are going to look at the slip strips, security. What security? What would you be looking for security on here?
Yeah, the safety pin. Yeah.
Yep. So we want the pin that goes through the nut. Pin that goes through the nut. What else?
Do the clamp bolts have a safety?
Looks like a castellated nut. So
Cotter
cotter pins. Maybe I take the blade by hands, make sure it doesn't rotate. Check the slippage marks. All right. So security, cracks, chips, paint. Proper installation. When you put any sort of prop hub back on, whether it be taper or splined, what should you put on first?
Pressure blue.
For contact.
Yep, pressure blue for contact. Take it off, wipe off the pressure blue, and it goes on. Greased or anti-seize or something. So when I do annuals on airplanes with this type of hub, it's just matter of policy. I pop the hub off, anti-seize, put it back on. Every year. Because if you don't do it every year, you're going to get to 1 year where it doesn't come off anymore. And that's no fun. Yes. If the pilot complained that this blade propeller was vibrating, what would you suggest? Okay, what's the first thing I want to check?
The manual, see what his RPM limits might be, see if he's operating in range.
First thing we want to check. What? Slip marks. Just walk up the airplane and look at it. Charge them an hour for that. Right? Slip marks. Slip marks look good. Now what?
Blade tracking?
Blade tracking. All you need is a bench. A seat. You were probably sitting on it anyway. It means you have to get up. By the way, you can't use a chair on wheels when you do that. So first I'm going to check slippage marks. Now I'm going to check tracking. Now what? Both of those check out fine. What's my next thought?
Static balance. Or yeah, pitch. Blade angle.
Yeah, I could check blade angles. Hey, how long has it been since you had the blade angles checked? Well, I just had it done yesterday.
Let me recheck it.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Now, if the pilot said, nah, I haven't had it done in like 5 years, 10 years since I had the blades, and the slip marks are good, then it's probably not that. So, let's see. So slippage marks are good. Hasn't been changed in a long time. Tracking's good.
Balance. Yeah, static balance.
Balance, yeah, it's like static balance. It probably didn't go out of balance. I'm running out of things right now. It was one of those things. So if it's after that, I'd say, hey, it's an engine problem. I've asked bonus question. What is that circle right there?
Is that a tack, something like that? Is that an instrument?
Embedded tense ball.
Or like a field gauge or something?
It's the mirror.
Oh, it's a mirror.
So the people flying can see each other.
Okay, so when someone came in the shop and they said they have a vibrational flying, is the first thing you go to the prop?
Generally, yeah. Well, first I start asking questions. What have you done? Why? Why did it just start?
Well, this guy I knew just worked on it the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's usually, there's always a reason, right? Things just don't start doing that. It started getting. It depends on the engine. You know, let's say it's 540.
Yeah.
Okay. First thing so I'll ask them some questions. What have you done? Well, there's always going to be something. Has the prop been off? No. Did you grease the prop? Grease the prop? Yeah. Did you grease the prop? Yeah. Okay. You probably put too much grease in it. You know. So right there. If the prop's been off and back on, did it go back on the right spot? You know, if nothing to do with the prop, then it could be the counterweights inside the engine. Yeah,
Or the fuel injection system, so let's start adjusting that.
that probably isn't going to make it vibrate. But all right, so ground adjustable props, right? That's all I got to say about ground adjustable.
Simple.
They're just very simple. Oh, I could have just played that. Damn it.
I know. I just...
Where'd all the pixels go?
Don't worry about
It was getting there.
Oh,
Gary here. Hey, today we're going to talk about checking.
I can't pronounce my own name. Don't make fun of me. All right, next thing I want to talk about is the Comper's Aromatic. Now, I don't want to get off on the weeds on this one.
But you're gonna?
Nope. I'm going to try really hard not to. The Comper's Aromatic Pitch Change Prop. I'm still pissed that I had one and somebody took it. I don't think it was a student.
Larry.
Someone put it on their car.
Or anybody who works here. All right.
This happened before it was a student.
So automatically changes pitch in response to operational forces. No direct pilot input. In other words, as a pilot, they don't have a control for it. It's going to do what it's going to do based upon what the pilot does with the other controls. I don't need to write this. Places the best load on the engine for optimal performance at high power and low airspeed. I can put that. High power and low airspeed. What is the prop going to do?
Low pitch.
Low blade angle. At high airspeed, in moderate power, it will go into higher blade angle. Now these angles could just be a couple degrees. It's not a lot of movement, but it's enough to really make a big difference. Pilot has no input or control of the prop. Due to advances in constant speed props, aromatics are pretty rare but still used. All right. So I'm going to tell you about it. And if you don't understand a word I say, you're fine. It takes a lot of thinking for me to remember exactly how this prop works. And even when I read it and go over it, it's... One day I was by myself at home and I was able to I get it! And then that was just gone after that. I'm like, okay, I don't get it because it's really hard. All right, it uses natural forces acting on the blade and counterweights to achieve proper blade angle. So this has counterweights, and we're going to start looking at anything that has counterweights on it, and that means something. So just get used to that. So without counterweights, centrifugal twisting force will make the blade go to what? Low blade angle, all on its own. But when you add counterweights, it does the opposite. So the counterweights are now the heavier item, and they're kind of out. And so they want to move in the direction that they want to move. I think about that one. In the direction they want to move. Counterweights are going to make the blades go to higher blade angle. I know that. So they're always going to want to go towards feather. So they're going to want to not go towards the center, but fling outwards. So they fling outwards, and that's going to cause the blade to go to a higher blade angle. So anytime you see counterweights on any prop at all, from here on out, know the counterweights are going to, centrifugal twisting force will drive the blades towards feather, high blade angle. So That's why there are counterweights on here. So uses natural force acting on blades and counterweights to achieve proper blade angle. Let's see, the center line of the prop. I'm telling you, this is going to be like horrible. Hang on, I didn't want to do that.
I believe in us.
All right, so those are our two forces. We have to remember this now. We're going to use these all the time now. So aerodynamic twisting force causes the blade to go towards high blade angle. Centrifugal twisting force without counterweights causes it to go to low blade angle. So all of your aircraft that are single engine aircraft, piston engine, single engine aircraft, will not have counterweights. So my airplane, because I have a single engine propeller, it's a movable prop, I do not have counterweights. Because oil pressure is going to be our other force that's going to move blades back and forth. If I lose oil pressure in my airplane, do I want to go into high pitch or low pitch? Well, I really would want it to go to high pitch, but it's not the way they set it up. So it goes to low pitch. So if there's a problem, it's going to default to a low pitch. So think about that. Problem, default to low pitch. Why is that good? Because if I have to do a go around and my governor's not working, I shouldn't have said loss of oil pressure because that's a whole nother problem. But let's say my governor broke, the speeder spring, something like that. My governor broke, it defaults to low pitch. I'm coming in for landing. Deer runs out in front of me. I got to do a go around and I got high pitch. When I add the power, it's going to be a problem. It really is. Confession. There was once or twice when plane was new to me, I forgot to put it into low blade angle during a takeoff. And boy, I instantly knew it. I'm like, this is not, oh yeah. I mean, you just feel it, you hear it, it is not good.
Stomach drops.
Yeah, so it's hard to take off. So you want it to go to the low angle. But if I have a twin engine airplane and I lose an engine, say I lose oil pressure, I don't want to need oil pressure to feather it. I want it to go to feather all on its own. It's like everything went to hell in the handbasket, that feathers out. So that's why I use the counterweights. We'll talk about that a lot more. So we'll see if this makes any sense. Uses the natural forces, which we just talked about. The center line of the propeller is behind the center line of the hub. So the blade is a little bit behind the hub. And not only that, it's kind of a weird looking angle on there, but it's behind the center line of the hub. This angle remains constant throughout the blade movement. The blade moves forward of the hub plane of rotation at low angles. So, let's see, are we looking down? I told you it's kind of.
No, I think we're looking straight on at it.
Yeah, it says plane of rotation.
Yeah. Yeah. But is it this rotation? That's what I'm thinking it is. It's not this rotation. It's this rotation. Because it doesn't turn like this. It actually turns like this. It's a weird thing.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't get it.
Yeah. And you can see these two lines here, the pivot axis, it changes. So this is what I'm saying. It's a really bizarre prop. Let's see.
It's like the helicopter rotor blade or something like that.
No, worse than that. Let's see. When throttle is pushed forward, engine RPM and power increase. An increase in RPM increases the centrifugal twisting moment, which tends to decrease blade angle. Why would CTF decrease the blade angle?
Because that's what it does.
Got to think it through.
The heavier portion of the blade is
What is CTF supposed to do to a blade?
We're supposed to take a low blade.
Low blade angle. Let me see. But I said, let me see. The blade. When throttle is pushed forward, engine RPM power increase. Increase in RPM increases the CTF, which tends to decrease blade angle. Yes. Increased lift caused by the increased RPM will cause the blade to move forward because it's not rotating. It actually literally moves forward. Let's see. Cause the blade to move forward and help decrease the blade angle. Higher RPM means higher blade angle attack, which moves the center. See, I'm already going to lose you on this one because even I'm losing myself just reading it and I can see it. It's a really bizarre one, and so we'll just go with that. Oh, yeah, see? Yeah. If you really want to...
like the rotor blade of the helicopter.
Yeah, oh, yeah, with the...
Because of the articulating blades and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. They kind of went up and around. No, let's get Phil in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't stop there, class. Get Phil in.
So this is... So you can see how it... I was right, how it goes back and forth. It's just a bizarre prop.
Just call it cool.
I'm just going to call it cool. Okay, the reason why this is here is because the blades have to do the same thing. So there's a synchronizer in there. They are locked in together. So whatever one does, the other does the same thing. So, but we don't need to know that. What do we need to know? Well, it's just an automatic propeller, and it's kind of cool.
Will we ever see one?
I don't know.
If you find the guy that took it.
Yeah.
I know. Every time I see one now, I'm gonna be like, "You're the mother."
Yeah, where'd you get that? It's probably got SCC inscribed into it.
Say hi to
so-
Facebook.
But what we could do is, on this one, which makes sense, is like any prop, what would be our maintenance and inspection?
Blade. Besides all the ones we mentioned in the last.
Gear
one.
What do we look for? Same as everything else.
Crack stains or
Cracks in the hub, blade damage, proper retention. Make sure the blade isn't moving around where it's not supposed to. It's kind of hard on this one since it moves all over the place, but on any sort of blade that is movable blade, every pre-flight I make, I take my blade and go back and forth a little bit and see if it's loose in the hub, up and down, see if it rotates. Do the other side too. So, but anyway, cracks, chips, wear, tracking. What's be the max tracking on that?
That one at 8th.
Why 8th?
It's wood.
Wood, yeah.
Well, what about because it's got a metal hub?
I would go with the wood. I'd go 8th inch.
Whatever manual says.
Or whatever manual says. I wrote 8th inch because I think I got it out of the book. Blade. This one, the blade should move freely by hand. They go through their motion because there's nothing in there. There's no springs. There's no. It's just all aerodynamic and centrifugal forcing. Yeah.
I felt like there had to be like some oil pressure controlled by a computer or something.
So pretty much same as everything else, except we're going to look for the blades to move. This one is lubricated, so you're going to check hub oil every 100 or annually. Oil level too high causes sluggish or erratic operation. Check for leaks. Oh yeah, always check for leaks. Now we talk about hubs that have anything inside. You want to look for a leak. What does it mean if you get a leak? That is a groundable thing. I wouldn't fly a leaky prop. Something's going bad. Something's coming loose in it. That is not a time to be flying it.
Time check.
Time check. Okay, thanks.
Well, it's rust prevention.